This story begins far beyond the mountains and the shadows. On the other side of the light. A lion was born without a drop of nobility in his blood. A lion who would change our lives forever. Mufasa.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel and time for another episode of Luke's Reviews. On today's video, we are heading back to the Pridelands for a story of one of the most iconic leaders of Pride Rock, Mufasa, the Lion King. With Simba and Nala away, young Kiara is due to be looked after by Timon, Pumbaa, and Rafiki. Together, they tell her the story of her grandfather, the mighty Mufasa. His story begins as a stray, and finding a new family. They soon find themselves on the run from a dangerous group of outsiders as they search for the sacred land of Malele. Let's all just be real. All cards on the table for just a second. We can all agree that the 1994 animated original The Lion King is one of the GOATs. It is pretty much a perfect movie. And then in 2019, Jon Favreau brought us a live-action CGI reimagining, and that wound up getting a bit more of a mixed reaction. Adding very little to the story itself, the only real point of note were the impressive visual effects, and otherwise, though, it was just a less effective way of telling what is still a great story, but it was pointless. As for this prequel, we are now entering uncharted territory. It's an original story with some original characters sprinkled in. So the questions I was asking myself were, could this in any way capture the magic found in the animated original? With Barry Jenkins at the helm, acclaimed director of Moonlight, and if Beale Street could talk, can he elevate this material even further? Sadly, the answer to those questions is a resounding no. It's disappointing to report that Mufasa the Lion King is a considerable waste of talent. It is truly baffling why someone like Barry Jenkins would choose to take on such a project like this. A feature film such as this is not typically what we have seen Barry Jenkins adopt in his directing wheelhouse. And as it turns out, a visual effects heavy, whimsical musical featuring singing animals does not lend itself to the workings of Barry Jenkins. Much of his distinct and tender direction is nowhere to be seen in Mufasa. There are a couple of interesting uses of the camera, mixed with very effective visual effects, but much of Jenkins's unique authorship is missing from the film entirely. One can only hope that he got paid a tidy sum for doing this film. The script and the story is the main Achilles heel of the film. My God, this was a chore to get through. Simply put, it is painfully dull. The investment that you have for these characters is bordering on empty. And the only reason why you care about someone like Mufasa is because of who he is in the original film. It's nothing to do with any of the merit garnered in this film specifically. The story itself unfolds at a snail's pace. We're having these really flat encounters with different tribes and familiar faces joining Mufasa on his journey, but they don't add anything to the film itself. It clocks in at just under 2 hours, and I'm very embarrassed to say that I lost count of the amount of times that I was having to check my watch to see just how long was left. Dealing out even more disappointment is the music. The music is such an iconic piece within the animated film, and in this prequel, we're either getting, for the score, just a rehash of all the Hans Zimmer themes, or a very generic and bland adventure jingle. But where I did have hope were the songs, because we were getting the Lin-Manuel Miranda creating brand new songs for this film, and boy were they a letdown too. None stood out, none had an emotional impact or had my toes tapping. In fact, it's just like the score. A lot of them are rehashes of songs in the original animated film. Big introductory song talking about life and luscious lands. There's a song between two youngsters as they run amok and they're looking forward to the future. We also get a love song set at night. I mean, come on. This really, really wasn't Lin-Manuel Miranda working at the top of his game. That's very disappointing. Nevertheless, while things may sound very dire, Mufasa the Lion King is not a complete lost cause. Just like the 2019 reimagining, the visual effects are genuinely impressive. And it's really nice to see that they have taken on board some of the feedback that we had from the film in 2019, and the artists have added more expression to the characters, particularly within their eyes. The other strong component within Mufasa are the voice cast. There are some returning stars who are reprising their roles from the 2019 film. If you are a Beyoncé fan, maybe don't get your hopes too high, because I'd wager she has 2, possibly 3 lines at most. As the voice of Mufasa is Pierre, who cleverly treats the character as his own and doesn't spend his time trying to imitate James L. Jones's iconic voice. Kelvin Harrison Jr. is a good fit as Taka, who will later be known as Scar, although I do think that the presentation of Taka, aka Scar, was lacking, and I don't think is a fair representation of the Scar that we see in the animated original. I don't think that they match up all that well. Additionally, this really does perplex me, is that Kelvin Harrison Jr. is American, but he's putting on a British accent, admittedly not a very good British accent, to play Taka, Scar. Pierre is British, and he's putting on an American accent to play Mufasa. Why? Matt Mikkelsen lends his menacing voice to the villain of this story. However, the character himself isn't all that memorable. And not all that memorable quite accurately sums up Mufasa the Lion King. Given such a well-established source material and an immensely talented filmmaker in Barry Jenkins, this is disappointing all around. Yes, it's a solid voice cast, and the film does look impressive, but the story is borderline lethargic, the songs are flavourless, and as the credits roll, I'm scratching my head why this was given the go-ahead in the first place. So I'm gonna give Mufasa the Lion King a 4 out of 10. Anyway, guys, those were my thoughts on Mufasa the Lion King. Let me know, have you had a chance to see the film yet? What did you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And my question to you, I would like to know, who do you think is the oddest director to have on a particular film? Like, you just don't think that that director and that particular film match up at all, because that was very much the case that I had with Mufasa the Lion King. But that's all the time we have for today, so thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.
Hello, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure to click that like button, and if you aren't already, click that subscribe button too.